I'm Dr. Lynn. I'm going to guide you through postural corrections to make your spine, pelvic floor, and whole body more comfortable. First, let's go over what a normal spine shape is. From a side view, we should have a slight inward curve in the cervical spine, that's the neck area, a slight outward curve in the thoracic area, generally called the upper back, and a slight inward curve in the lower back area called the lumbar spine. Let me show you sometimes what can be a little off in common postural deviations. So something that I see with a lot of my patients is that their pelvis is pushed forward, they have an excessive arch in their low back, and their rib cage is tilted posteriorly, tilted backwards on their pelvis. As a counterbalance, this generally then makes the head want to stick forward like this. This can cause a lot of stress and strain throughout various parts of your body. So if you think that this matches how you tend to stand, let me show you how to correct it. So let's start at the feet. So first you want to make sure that your feet are hip width apart, not on the outside of your pelvis, but directly under your hip sockets. Make sure that your weight is evenly distributed on your feet. So you can rock back and forth a little bit until you feel like the weight's evenly spread throughout your foot and your weight is directly over the arch of your foot. Next, make sure that your knees aren't locked. So if I push my knees all the way back, sometimes called locking them out or trying to hyperextend them, generally that's going to make me thrust my pelvis forward and have that deeper arch in my back. So we want soft knees. Not to the point that you're going to be squatting all the time, but again, just to avoid that end range lockout into extension. So soft knees. Next, you're going to adjust your pelvic tilt to neutral. Everybody's is a little different. It should be somewhere in between the extreme forward tilted position and extreme backwards tilted position. So go ahead and try tilting your pelvis forward, tilting it back, and find a comfortable position somewhere in the middle. Next, you want to take your rib cage and set it directly over your pelvis. If you're used to leaning back, this may feel funny at first. You may feel like you're falling forward, so it may take a little while to get used to. So let's pretend that my posture is with that posteriorly tilted rib cage with my shoulders hanging back. I'm going to take a big inhale, stand up really tall, and then when I exhale, I'm going to knit my rib cage together a little bit in the front, zip in my low belly just a little bit, like zipping up slightly tight pants, and this is going to bring my rib cage sitting nice and vertically right over my pelvis. Okay. Last, let's pretend that my head is still in that forward head and chin tendency that many people have. I'm going to retract my head and neck directly back. So if I had my back against a wall, I'd be bringing the back of my head towards that wall. Okay. And notice how when I do that, my chin lightly tucks in, almost like I'm trying to hold a little golf ball under my chin, but not so much that I'm looking down. Okay, let's try it from a different view. So feet hip width apart, right under those hip sockets, even weight on my feet, soften your knees, find a neutral pelvic tilt right in the middle. Big inhale, come up, nice and tall like a puppet strings, pulling the crown of my head up towards the ceiling. Big exhale. I'm knitting everything around my front to midline, almost like lacing up a corset or zipping up those tight pants. Okay. And then I'm going to correct my forward head by retracting my chin. Okay. Now sometimes, especially if you do a lot of forward reaching or computer work, the pectoral muscles in the chest here are tight enough that it feels like your shoulders want to pull forward. And that may be one reason that when you're trying to have better posture, you want to lean back to try to get those shoulders back. But what I want you to try instead is keeping that really tall, well-aligned posture we just practiced. Keep a little core engagement here and just draw your shoulder blades back independent of your spine. They're just sliding around the rib cage. I'm going to show you from the side again. So say if when I straightened up, my chest is a little rounded now, I'm going to stay really tall through my spine and then just slide my shoulder blades back, like trying to pinch a pencil between my shoulder blades if it was laying on my spine. These postural corrections may not feel natural at first, just because it's not what your body's used to, but with practice, doing little posture and body scans throughout the day and making small corrections for a short amount of time, over time it's going to get easier and easier to stay in that better posture for longer, and it will start to feel natural and more comfortable, and your body will want to stay there.